Right now, we are 2 minutes away from the end of the trading day. Romaine Bostick here, taking you through to that closing bell. It's a global simulcast. We're joined right now by Carol Massar and Tim Stenovec. Welcome to our audiences across all of our Bloomberg platforms, television, radio, and our partnership with YouTube on a slightly down day here for U.S. equity markets. The S&P down about 0.2%.
Yeah, just a little bit lower, but I do feel like the fear over a longer war or the difficulty in reading the tea leaves about any kind of peace deal continues to weigh on the markets today. You've had energy prices kicking up. You've seen U.S. yields moving up. This ahead, of course, the monthly jobs report tomorrow. But that is, I feel like, weighing on the overall trade today.
Yeah, one thing that's not lower is oil. We're actually seeing WTI and Brent higher right now. Brent above $82, almost $83 a barrel. WTI at 77.69 right now. We did see Iran strike hostile targets in the Strait of Hormuz. That's on the terminal, but according to the Fars news agency. And there's also questions about what any sort of deal with Oman, Romaine, would look like to open the Strait of Hormuz and which ships would actually be allowed to go through there.
Yeah, some of the headlines that we've been getting out of this, I guess, so-called deal, maybe a little bit alarming, certainly from a geopolitical perspective. Meanwhile, when we go back to the fundamentals of this market, we should point out a lot of the earnings that we were talking about yesterday on the close, a lot of those names, those stocks in the red here on the day. We're going to get some more earnings after the bell tonight, including from Akamai, Roku, Airbnb, Lyft, Twilio, Monster, Cloudflare, and how about this? Sweetgreen. That could be interesting as well. All right, we get the closing bells here in New York, and it is going to be red across the screen for the major indices here in the United States. The Dow Jones Industrial Average losing almost 500 points on the day, or down about 8 to 0.9%. The S&P down about 12 to 13 points, or 0.2%. The Nasdaq Composite's going to end the day down about 0.1%. The Nasdaq 100 down 0.4%. And well, you get the picture. Fractional losses all around, including for the Russell 2000, Carol, which is down 0.6%.
All right, quick check on the S&P 500. Romaine doing the overall indices. We've got more than 300 names lower, Romaine, in today's session for the S&P 500, and you're looking at about only 194 gaining ground. But we are starting to get some earnings.
Well, we are? Oh, wow.
What do you see?
Well, before we get to the earnings, I do just want to point out just really quickly, when we talk about on the sector level, I mean, there was really only one sector that really did anything meaningful today, and that was energy. And that gets to your point, Tim. As a group, it was up about 1.5%. And obviously, that had to do with that renewed jump that we're seeing in crude oil prices. All right, you want earnings, Carol? I'll give them to you. Instacart or Maple Bear, depending on how you want to see it. Those shares higher in the after-hours trade in the second quarter. Gross transaction value did come in right around estimates, $10.35 billion. The street was looking for $10.2 billion. EBITDA coming in above estimates at $313 million. Here's your forecast going forward. The company says that for the third quarter, the current quarter, it sees gross transaction value in a range of 10.3 to 10.55 billion. So on a sequential basis, not quite a big bump from what we saw from the past quarter, but investors, at least the knee-jerk reaction, Carol, to the upside, up 4%.
All right, so let's get to it. A stock that's been outperforming this year, Akamai, which is up about 36% year to date. Let's get to its numbers, just crossing the Bloomberg terminal. Let's go right to the outlook. Akamai sees fiscal year revenue, $4.45 billion to $4.53 billion. It had seen $445 billion to $455 billion, so maybe just reining in barely the top end. Sees third quarter adjusted EPS of $1.60 to $1.80. The street estimate is $1.70, so right in the middle of that range. You can see Akamai shares, perhaps some disappointment here, down about 8% to say the least. Second quarter, looking backwards, second quarter adjusted EPS just a penny better, $1.59 a share. Second quarter revenue in line, $1.1 billion. Again, that was the street estimate. So maybe, Romaine, investors who have pushed up this share price are looking for more.
Yeah, I'm looking for more there. You see the shares down significantly. You know, Tim, I'm looking at another stock right now, and that's Trade Desk. Those shares getting killed right now. What's going on?
Yeah, they are. Shares down about 15% in the after hours. Second quarter adjusted EPS missed estimates. I mean, going into this print, the ad tech company shares were under pressure, down more than 50% so far this year. That third quarter outlook coming in below estimates. Listen to this. Trade Desk sees third quarter revenue of at least $650 million. The estimate was for $808.4 million. From an earnings perspective, the company the company's second quarter revenue came in below estimates too, rather, at $715 million. The estimate was for $750 million. So a miss looking backward and a miss also looking forward. Shares down 17%.
All right, guys, let's go to Airbnb. It, too, is crossing the Bloomberg terminal as we speak. Bringing up the ticker here, and you've got, again, let's go to the outlook. Like to go there. Company sees third quarter revenue, $4.69 billion to $4.77 billion. Street estimate is $4.6 billion, so raising certainly the estimate, the range there. Stock is right now up about 2.9% here in the aftermarket. The company going backwards, second quarter EPS, that was $1.37 versus $1.03 year over year. The company also saying it sees fiscal year adjusted EBITDA margin at least 35.5%, slightly higher than the street estimate of 35.4%. Second quarter, again, now going backwards, sorry, as the numbers cross here. Second quarter revenue was $3.61 billion. That's a little bit higher, Romaine, than what the street was expecting. It was $3.58 billion. Again, investors liking it initially, up more than 2.5%.
Well, put this up against the backdrop of what we learned the other day from Expedia and Booking Holdings. And of course, we heard from the airlines a couple of weeks ago. And it does seem that overall, the travel sector, certainly here in the U.S., has held up pretty well.
Yeah, Airbnb also, I mean, this optimistic outlook, I'm just looking at our Natalie Lung putting it right through on the Bloomberg terminal. Airbnb's optimistic outlook suggesting that travel demand remains healthy. Overall, nights and seats booked jumping 10% to 148.3 million, Tim, in the second quarter.
Yeah, I'm just going through their investor letter right now. The company says one of the most encouraging trends in the second quarter was that it saw year-over-year growth accelerate, not just in the expansion markets, but in many of our largest core markets as well. Net origin nights booked in the U.S., France, the U.K., and Australia all accelerated in the second quarter. Airbnb says it reinforces our confidence that our product innovation is driving demand across our business. To your point, Romaine, is it just it's not just an Airbnb story, right?
I think that's what I was trying to get at here, whether this is something specific or whether this is more sort of an industry-wide thing. We're getting quite a few other earnings, including from Dropbox and also from Lyft. Lyft shares looks like they're bouncing around here in the after-hours trade. 2Q EPS pretty much in line with estimates at 13 cents a share. Gross bookings, $5.5 billion. The street was looking for $5.37 billion, so a bit of a smidge, quite above that. Rides also slightly above as well. For your guidance for the current quarter, the third quarter, adjusted EPS a range 183 to 203. The street on average looking for 192. I'm rounding up there. And for the third quarter gross bookings, the company sees about $5.5 to $5.67 billion dollars there, and you can see Lyft shares now up about 7%.
All right, guys, let's get to Sweetgreen also, which of course has been under pressure, concerns about lettuce, and that has certainly put pressure on this name and others. Second quarter results, revenue, $192.7 million. That is a little light. The Bloomberg consensus estimate was for $195 million. Adjusted EBITDA, a loss of 18 cents here. The estimate profit was for $6.18. Let me make sure I've got these numbers right. Forgive me as I go through them. So second quarter adjusted EBITDA loss of $0.2 million versus an estimated profit of $6.18 million. So that stock, not surprised to see it down right now about 9%, Tim, here in the aftermarket. Yeah,
an updated outlook as a result of what the company says is reflects reduced consumer demand for fresh prepared foods due to the multi-state outbreak of cyclosporiasis since mid-July. The pace and timing of recovery remain uncertain. For fiscal year 2026, they now anticipate the following: same-store sales change between 8% to 7%, restaurant level profit margin of 10.5 to 11%. They are also are unclear about when there's some sort of recovery here, Romaine. We've seen this story play out with other outbreaks of foodborne illnesses, but this one's a little bit different given how difficult it is to replicate in a lab because it's on such perishable items.
And there's a big issue here also just about communication and what the public knows or don't know, and the idea of who you actually trust. And it has a lot of people just trying to avoid any kind of raw vegetables at restaurants. And we've talked about this a lot. Obviously, it was First Yum that kind of took the brunt of it. There was a privately held salad chain that just filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection, saying that it was already having issues news, but the cyclospora outbreak kind of exacerbated that. So something we'll have to keep an eye on here as to whether there is any sort of meaningful drop in foot traffic. Remember, the outbreak, or at least the public awareness of this outbreak, kind of came towards the end of the quarter, so or actually came after the end of the quarter in July, so it won't probably be reflected in the 3 months past. Can I do Twilio?
Please.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I'm really into the stock because it is, the
Twilio
infrastructure
away.
of the internet. It's up 11% right now, Tim Stenovec. Pretty decent numbers for the quarter. Expectations were high, and the company did manage to beat them. 147 is your adjusted EPS number. That was a beat. $1.5 billion. That was your revenue. That is a beat. And the guidance going forward, the company says that full year adjusted operating income will be 1.14 to 1.16, relatively in line with estimates. And organic revenue growth will be about 13 to 13.5%.
All right, just watching some of these stocks in the aftermarket, as you mentioned, Romaine, Twilio is up about 12%. You've got Instacart up about 12% as we speak, and I'm just going to pull up. Let's see what else we got
What
here.
else are you pulling up?
I don't know. I'm
I
just
thought we
looking.
were going.
I'm just looking at some of the names in terms of what we just did to see what kind of trade. Akamai. Let's just pull that up.
Carol Massar. Hey, shout out to the Union League Club of Chicago.
Sweetgreen.
Go on.
Still down about
Yeah.
9%. What do you want to shout out here?
I just did, Carol Massar.
That's it?
Yeah,
All right.
Is there a reason behind the shout out?
There is.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
it's an inside joke.
Do you care to share?
That's my fan base out there.
Oh, okay. I guess
Well, I'm glad
Romaine's
you-
getting
I'll
some,
ask them if they like you too.
some IBs.
I'm glad if somebody like that you've got.
Yeah, okay.
There's a
It's
fan
Whoa,
base somewhere.
whoa, whoa.
All right, gotta run, gotta run. All right, love you, love you. All right,
I'm separating
that is
you
a wrap.
two.
Thanks, Dad.